Welcome to the channel, viewers. Dr. JWAU, theologist, in the series Post-Pandemic Vaccine Therapy Journey. We're in episode 2 of what I decided to be a 12-episode series when lockdown isolated the body from human support. In the previous episode, I revealed how emergency power entered the inner life through conditional access, compliance pressure, medical coercion, and institutional control. But beneath those restrictions, another wound formed quietly: isolation itself. At first, lockdown sounded temporary, 2 weeks, flatten the curve, stay apart, stay safe. Language sounded medical, protective, collective, necessary. But over time, the separation began changing people psychologically. Not only because human beings need movement, human beings need each other. The body does not regulate itself through information or exercise alone. It regulates through presence, conversation, touch, eye contact, routine, belonging, familiarity, shared grief, shared laughter, ordinary human nearness. Lockdown disrupted those stabilizing systems all at once. Grandparents sat alone. Children stopped seeing friends. Churches emptied. Families communicated through screens. Funerals became controlled gatherings. Birthdays became permissions. The elderly disappeared into silence, and many people discovered something terrifying. Isolation changes perception. Days lost structure. Sleep patterns shifted. Fear intensified without interruption. News cycles became emotional weather systems inside the home. People began monitoring systems obsessively, monitoring each other obsessively, monitoring behavior excessively, and suspicion entered ordinary interaction. The cough, the distance, the mask, the movement, the contact list. The body no longer felt socially natural. It felt medically observable. And that changes people internally, because once human presence becomes psychologically associated with danger, the nervous system begins reorganizing around avoidance. Some people stopped hugging relatives long after restrictions lifted. Some became hypervigilant around sickness permanently. Some developed anxiety they never previously carried. Some became emotionally flattened through prolonged isolation. Others experienced panic, despair, compulsive behavior, alcohol dependency, emotional shutdown, hidden pornography addiction, rage bursts, family conflict, and psychological fragmentation, while trying to survive confinement without emotional regulation systems around them. And for many households, lockdowns did not create dysfunction. It exposed it. Marriages already strained become pressure chambers. Homes already unstable became emotional traps. Children absorbed parental fear silently. and loneliness deepened inside bedrooms, apartments, aged care rooms, and hospital wards, where people slowly realised survival without human closeness carries its own form of suffering. And that contradiction became psychologically destabilising. Protection itself began producing harm. The person outside became the threat. But the absence of the person became another threat too. So the nervous system became trapped between two competing alarms. Fear proximity, fear isolation. That tension exhausts the body, especially when there is no visible endpoint. People adapted outwardly, video calls, distant markers, QR codes, restricted seating, permitted movement windows. But adaptation is not always healing. Sometimes adaptation is survival inside abnormal conditions. And survival mode changes consciousness slowly. People stop planning confidently. People stop touching naturally. People stop trusting certainty. People stopped assuming tomorrow would remain stable. People lost jobs. People lost relationships. Some lost faith in institutions, and others lost emotional resilience quietly while continuing to appear functional. And viewers and listeners, that is important because many psychological injuries during lockdown were invisible. I'm going to say that again. Because many psychological injuries during lockdown were invisible. No cast, no bleeding, no public diagnosis, only nervous system exhaustion, emotional compression, internal fatigue, hypervigilance, and detachment. And beneath it all, an unspoken grief for ordinary human life itself. If people still feel psychologically altered after prolonged isolation, that does not automatically mean weakness. The body was never designed for extended relational deprivation under strained fear conditioning. If someone became emotionally numb, socially anxious, distrustful, withdrawn, or psychologically exhausted, the action and reaction may not be irrational. It may be adaptive survival carried for too long. And therapy begins when isolation is understood not only as physical separation, but as nervous system destabilization beneath prolonged uncertainty, fear, and interrupted human attachment. Because lockdown did not only isolate bodies from infection, it isolated people from the relationships that helped them remain emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and physically integrated. So I ask you to listen to my final statement very carefully. Lockdown protected people from proximity while simultaneously depriving many of the human connection their nervous systems required to remain psychologically stable. I'm Dr. JWA, youth theologist since 1994. Like and subscribe to encourage me to do more. comment to educate me, share to help somebody else, and I'll see you in the next episode when fear turned ordinary people into enforcers.